Hey, how's it going, everyone? So it looks like Paul Joseph Watson's made a new video, and throughout the past couple of months, I think his fucking videos have become pretty shit. It seems that he's trying to shit out anything to try and make some more money, which is a shame because I do like his content and he is a pretty smart guy. But his latest video on soy is really, really fucking retarded. So first of all, I'd like to point out that obviously correlation does not equal causation. Paul Joseph Watson doesn't understand this, and he just assumes everyone that eats soy is somehow on the fucking far left. Paul, I'm not so sure if you've done your research properly, because the Japanese, the people that Paul Joseph Watson and Black Pigeon Speaks and a few other people love to go on about how based and nationalistic they are, well, the Japanese, especially the men, consume a really large amount of soy. So this is really fucking retarded. Paul Joseph Watson, for some reason, assumes that just having soy will instantly lean you to the left. You know, you'll just slowly start to fucking lean over to the left. Next thing you know, you're cutting off your balls and becoming transgender. Well, I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't know if you've been to Asia or if you just fucking Google Asian food, you'll notice that Asians consume a shit ton of soy. Why don't they have problems with radical communists and leftists? I don't know. Maybe your diet doesn't really fucking matter. Maybe it's got something to do with the ideology and how it's being pushed through mainstream media. Look, I understand that this soy boy thing is kind of a meme on sites like 4chan and 8chan, but the problem is there's actually a lot of people out there that are starting to believe that soy will turn you feminine.
Is soy food consumption turning men into pussies and making them more likely to adopt left-wing beliefs? You've probably seen the BuzzFeed Try Guys video where they measure their testosterone and it's literally half or less the normal level for a man. Their testosterone is so low, it's below the average for an 85 to 100-year-old man.
We're all super freaking high.
So the reason that these guys have such horrible testosterone scores is because of their lifestyle choices, not so much because of their diet. But that is a factor. But the main thing is that most people in the West, they drive to work. Once they get to work, they're usually in an office and they'll be sitting down for most of the day. Now, when they do that day in and day out, they tend to become lazy and they won't work out. And that can usually mean they'll eat poorly, which for men results in weight gain and drops of testosterone.
Right now.
And as we know, the only men who seriously watch BuzzFeed are tofu-eating, male feminist virtue signaling, beta-orbiter soy boys, which led me...
Yes, Paul, just like the people that read Breitbart News, they're all white nationalists, aren't they, huh? They're all Nazis, huh?
He took his wife's last name. He's a soy boy. This idiot who thinks saying all lives matter is racist and hates his own family because they're conservative. He's a soy boy. This communist who thinks anyone who disparages soy is a fascist. He's a soy boy. Jesse Cox, the comedian who said he'd rather die than see America stop taking in refugees. He'd be a soy boy. And that's the thing. There seems to be an even closer correlation between male feminist virtue signalers who defend Muslim refugees and their soy fetish.
Yes, because correlation equals causation, doesn't it, huh, Paul? Huh? So it turns out there's actually people on the far right that are vegans themselves, and some of them are actually white nationalists, like Corey McCarthy. Even Vice has written an article on white nationalist vegans. But for some fucking weird reason, Paul Joseph Watson thinks that vegans who care about the suffering of animals are the same as jihadi Muslims. Now, we're getting a bit off track with the whole veganism thing, but in general, you know, vegans are associated with soy and having low testosterone.
Soy isn't healthy? Okay, but I'm literally using it as a dairy substitute, so what's your point?
Soy boy.
Fuck's sake, Paul. I really don't want to defend this SJW, but he does have a point here, because dairy and milk, especially milk, is not really healthy for you. And I'm not going to go into detail, but you can just do your research on it. And milk actually contains pus from cows. So, you know, I'd rather have soy over cow pus.
I wonder if the Norwegian guy who felt guilty about the Muslim migrant who raped him being deported is also a soy boy. Bet he is.
I bet he is. I bet he is.
Hey man, all Jews, they run all the banks in the world, so I bet all Jews are secretly millionaires, you know? Even the ones, Devani Sheckelstein, even that guy down the street who lives in a box and is Jewish, I bet you he actually has millions of fucking dollars in his bank account, but he's not gonna say anything about it. But, you know, I bet he's a fucking millionaire. I fucking bet you, man.
What is it about soy that turns men into such spineless wimps?
Vegan Gains. He is a spineless wimp. He has soy, and he is a bitch, and he can't lift. And he probably has low testosterone. He's fucking spineless wimp. Mate, you are a fucking retard, mate. You are an absolute fucking retard. And it's got nothing to do with soy, Paul, because the vast majority of young children consume a lot of chicken. And they sit on their ass and they come back from school, and instead of going outside, again, they'll be inside playing Minecraft or some shit. I don't know. Fuck do I know? I mean, I'm a soy boy as well, so yeah. I mean, I've got some pretty big man titties right here, so, you know. I guess Paul is right.
Soybeans contain high amounts of phytoestrogen.
Congratulations, Paul. That was fucking amazing. I didn't know that.
Organic compounds that mimic the female hormone estrogen in the human body.
Actually, what happens is if you have a high fiber diet, that estrogen is absorbed in the fiber, and then you do this thing where you go to the toilet, you put down your pants, and then you fucking drop a snagger. Which translates to taking a shit, and that estrogen escapes from your body. But it's quite different because with the dairy, because I know you're a dairy lover, you must be getting that sweet dairy ching ching. You know what I'm you know what I'm saying, man? Yeah. Where was I? Oh shit! I got a B12 deficiency, bro. All right. So with dairy, your body actually absorbs that estrogen from dairy, and not just from dairy, actually, even from chicken. I'll link a few studies here and you can see. So if you just shift your eyes over to the conclusions part, you can clearly see from this research that was conducted that milk actually lowered testosterone scores for men. Now I'll put links to all of these documents in the description of this video. Okay, so if a man has I guess it's really fucking macho, man. I mean, it's really manly to have a glass of milk, you know. The thing is, milk has this protein called casein. Casein has been linked to breast cancer, prostate cancer, and kidney disease. And some kind of minor side effects people get from it is acne, irritable bowel syndrome, asthma problems, and there's also 135 million pus cells in one glass of milk. So to suggest that people who have a glass of milk are more based than someone who has a glass of soy is pretty fucking retarded. Shit, man, I don't know, call me a soy boy, but I don't think going like up to a cow and sucking on its tit is pretty natural. I mean, I think you're pretty fucked up if you do that. So I don't know, man, like I'd rather grind up some beans or some almonds and make my own milk like that. Fuck, I'm probably just a pussy soy boy. I mean, I can already feel my fucking titties growing, man. Fuck.
This reduces testosterone and lowers male sperm count.
No, it doesn't. You can check this study that was done in 2010. But I guess I'm gonna have to believe you, Paul Joseph Watson, because you're so based, and I love you. I love you a lot.
Men who eat half a serving of soy a day have 34 million fewer sperm per millimeter than those who don't.
Oh, well done, Paul. You nailed that one. You're a fucking legend. You absolutely nailed that one. That's why, you know, in China, like, you know, they're like cloning people. Because, like, you know, there's not enough sperm, so they have to put babies in test tubes or some shit like that, you know. And in Japan as well. Actually, that's why the population is going down in Japan, you know. It's not because, like, young people don't want to get married and they work too much and shit. It's actually because they're having too much soy, you know. Jesus fucking Christ, what a retard. I'm going to give Paul the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe this is a troll. Like, I've fallen for the bait. I think I have. This is probably, like, some fucking mid-tier troll by 4chan or 8chan or some shit like that. And, you know, it's like, hey, let's bait the vegans and the people on the left that like soy lattes. So, yeah, I probably fell for it, but whatever.
Men with low testosterone have impaired sexual functioning. They lose their libido. Men with high estrogen take on feminine traits. They find it harder to handle stress.
I'm triggered.
They become less assertive. They become low energy. Their voices get higher, their genitals shrink, they lose muscle tone, and they lose hair.
The fact that they use soy therapy for women that are post-menopause, meaning that their femininity has sort of dropped, right? They don't have as much estrogen. They use soy to produce more womanly hormones for those types of women, is a clear indicator to me that I don't want to take that shit because I don't want to be more womanly.
Men with high testosterone handle dramatic situations better. They don't get scared by loud noises. Low testosterone is also linked.
Wham and hormones, dude. Wham and hormones. I like that. I like that shit. That's good, man. Okay, I'm starting to think that Paul Joseph Watson is shit posting by using Elliot Hulse in his video.
Shake your balls. To get the breath down lower, shake your balls. Feel your balls shaking. Feel your balls shaking. Feel your legs shaking. Feel your belly shaking. Breathe and shake. Breathe and vibrate. Breathe and vibrate. Breathe and vibrate.
With mood swings and depression. It's a constant source of interest to me how my most obsessive and vehement haters on the left always relentlessly complain about how maniacally depressed they are. Studies have repeatedly shown how liberals are more unhappy than conservatives. Every year since 1972, when Pew began its study, significantly more Republicans have reported themselves to be very happy compared to Democrats. Soy lowers testosterone, and low testosterone causes depression.
Alright, I'm gonna just point out that yes, obviously, having low testosterone is fucking shit, but you can supplement testosterone, and I think a lot of people who work in offices all day should be doing that. It's not that hard to do. You just go to your doctor, you get a blood test done, and then they'll supply you with some type of testosterone supplement that you take. And, you know, I've heard stories about people taking that shit and their life has completely changed. So, and they weren't vegan or anything. So, I don't know what you're on about, Paul, but, you know, keep doing your thing.
Obviously, it's not the only factor, but consider this. In 1992, soy food sales in the US stood at $300 million a year. They now stand at over $4 billion a year. This has coincided with a substantial drop in men's testosterone levels in the US since the 80s.
Yes, and do you remember in the 90s when they were saying that video games causes violence? You know, little Billy, he's playing some shoot 'em up game, and then, you know, there's probably a high chance in 10 years he'll go shoot up a school. Huh? You remember that? Remember that? Like, there was all these tests and studies done, and, you know, they came to the conclusion that video games would make you shoot up a school. So I guess correlation does equal causation, doesn't it, Paul?
According to Dr. Thomas Travison and his colleagues behind one such study, the average levels of the male hormone are dropping by about 1% per year. This means that a 40-year-old man in 2017 would have testosterone levels about 20% lower than a 40-year-old in 1997.
Surgeons are also conducting an all-time record number of operations to reduce Man boobs. Could soy be one of the causes of this surge in men growing Babylons?
Also known as gyno or bitch tits, it's a condition that men can get where their breast tissue enlarges and it's caused by hormonal imbalances. There is a genetic component to this where boys going through puberty or older men may get this condition just from normal hormonal changes. But there is also a very large dietary component that I wanted to cover. First of all, I want to quickly cover soy. Soy is always talked about as having an estrogen-like effect in men, and there's this idea that if you eat soy products, you'll grow bitch tits, but that's just not true. The most recent meta-analysis found that neither soy nor soy isoflavone supplements had an estrogen-like effect in men, and they don't lower testosterone levels. There's also only 2 case reports in the medical literature where subjects reported a feminizing effect from soy, but they were both eating upwards of 14 servings of soy products per day, far more than any normal human being would ever eat. So as long as you're not eating practically nothing but soy, it's impossible to get any sort of feminizing effect.
And I'm not talking about obesity, we're talking about otherwise healthy and lean boys and young men suffering from gynecomastia, otherwise known as bitch tits. According to Dr. Kayla T. Daniel, the cause is environmental estrogens, including, you guessed it, soy.
I'd like to point out that the reason that these guys have bitch tits is because they're bodybuilders, and a side effect from steroids is gyno. So this has nothing to do with soy.
All of those soybeans contain phytoestrogen.
Fucking hell, congratulations, I didn't know that shit. And you know what happens with phytoestrogens? You actually shit them out through your fiber. Whereas the estrogen from cow's milk, you actually absorb that. But, you know, let's see what else she has to say.
That's plant estrogens, and they are a form of estrogenizing influence on the body. They create hormonal havoc. They create endocrine disruption.
How do they do this? This is just, it's the oldest myth about soy and estrogen. And it's fucking hell. Link me a study or some shit, woman. Don't just speak out of your fucking old hag mouth, you know? Just, oh, jeez.
And who's most at risk? Well, boys who were on soy infant formula when they were babies, boys who grew up and their brains and bodies developed on soy milk and other phytoestrogenic foods, and young men and older men who get health conscious and start drinking a lot of soy milk and eating soy shakes and soy energy.
Right, and she claims she's a professional in this subject, but she doesn't even fucking mention the fact that a lot of young people are eating junk food and sitting on their ass and playing games all day. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And she's being used as an example here by Paul Joseph Watson.
The trusted Paul Joseph Watson.
Yeah, this is absolutely retarded. I mean, there's guys on YouTube, Dorian Ryder, cyclist. He's been vegan for, 15 years. Whether you like him, you hate him, whatever. You got Vegan Gains, bodybuilder, John Venus, bodybuilder as well. All these guys consume a shit ton of soy. Some of them even smash down chocolate soy. That's like a liter of chocolate soy or some shit like that you can buy for $2 here. And you know what? These guys are setting records every day. I don't think these people are lazy. You'd have to be pretty fucking retarded to think these guys have low testosterone. Most of them have women. Dorian Ryder himself, he's on his like 3rd or 2nd partner. So I don't know, this whole thing that, like, this whole argument that soy makes you less of a man and all this shit is just a load of bollocks.
Moves can be one of the side effects.
After retired US Army intelligence officer James Price was diagnosed with gynecomastia, he was found to have estrogen levels in his bloodstream 8 times the normal limit for men.
You know why he got gyno? It was because of steroids. You'd be surprised, Paul, if you actually did some fucking research, and you'd find out that there's quite a lot of people in the army that love taking steroids. So there you go. The more you learn, the more you grow.
A rough guess at what Price's favourite drink was. Soy milk.
Shit, Illuminati confirmed, bro. Illuminati confirmed.